What if I told you that Very Dark Man could potentially win or lose N100 million just by stepping foot in China? The stakes have never been higher and the drama is absolutely insane. Stay with me because this story has more twists than a Nollywood thriller. What's good, everyone? If you've been following the Nigerian social media space, you know that Very Dark Man never backs down from controversy. But this time things have escalated to a whole new level. We're talking about N100 million bets, international travel bans, and a feud with a Chinese businessman that's gotten completely out of control. Before we dive deep into this chaos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because stories like this don't come around every day. And trust me, you don't want to miss any updates on how this plays out. So let's rewind a bit and talk about how we got here. For those who might be new to this situation, Very Dark Man, whose real name is Martins Vincent Otse, has built his entire platform on calling out scammers, exposing fraudsters, and basically being the person who says what everyone else is thinking but is too scared to say out loud. Now, enter Ross Boss. This Chinese businessman became the subject of Very Dark Man's attention after allegations of scam operations started circulating. And you know VDM, when he catches wind of something suspicious, he's like a dog with a bone. He doesn't let go. The two have been going back and forth, with accusations flying from both sides. But here's where things get absolutely wild. According to recent reports, there's now a rumor, a very serious rumor, that Very Dark Man has been placed on some kind of travel ban list in China. Meaning if he steps foot in the country, he's getting arrested immediately. Now, Very Dark Man being Very Dark Man, he wasn't about to let that slide without proof. He initially put up N50 million as a wager, basically saying prove it. He was challenging anyone to show concrete evidence that this ban exists. That's bold, right? But what happened next? Things got even crazier. Fast forward to October 27th, and suddenly we're not talking about N50 million anymore. Multiple challengers have now stepped forward with N100 million bets on the table. That's right, N100 million. These people are so confident that Very Dark Man will be arrested the moment he enters China that they're willing to stake that kind of money on it. Think about what N100 million means. That's not pocket change, that's life-changing money. That's buy a house, start multiple businesses, and still have change left over kind of money. And there are multiple people willing to put that amount on the line. The terms are simple but intense. Very Dark Man enters China, and if he gets arrested or detained because of this alleged travel ban, the challengers win. If he walks through Chinese immigration freely without any issues, Very Dark Man collects. It's literally that straightforward, but the implications are massive. What makes this even more interesting is that these aren't just random trolls talking trash online. These are people who are apparently ready to put their money where their mouth is. They're calling Very Dark Man's bluff in the most dramatic way possible. Now, with this kind of money involved, you can't just do a handshake deal. We're talking about proper arrangements here, and that's where things get even more intriguing. The challengers have suggested using neutral third parties as escrow holders, people who would hold the money until the bet is settled. And who's been mentioned as a potential escrow holder? Victor Osimhen. Yes, the same Victor Osimhen who's out there scoring goals for Galatasaray and representing Nigeria on the international stage. Why Osimhen? Well, he's a high-profile figure who both sides presumably trust, someone with a reputation to protect, and someone who's unlikely to run off with N100 million. The idea of using prominent businessmen or public figures as escrow holders shows that this isn't just social media noise. People are actually trying to structure this properly, which suggests they're deadly serious about making this happen. Think about it. Getting someone like Osimhen involved means paperwork, legal agreements, and actual financial arrangements. This has gone from internet beef to a potentially real-world event that could actually happen. Here's what's really interesting though. Very Dark Man has gone completely silent on this escalation. Remember, this is the same guy who never shies away from controversy, who's always ready with a response, who lives for these kinds of confrontations. But since these N100 million challenges dropped on October 27th, there's been radio silence. What does that mean? There are a few possibilities here. Maybe he's actually considering taking the bet and is working out the logistics behind the scenes. Maybe he's consulting with lawyers or advisors about the actual legal implications of this situation. Or maybe, and this is the question everyone's asking, maybe he's having second thoughts about whether that travel ban might actually be real. See, it's one thing to throw out a N50 million challenge when you're feeling confident. It's another thing entirely when multiple people come back at you with even bigger numbers, ready to call your bluff. That silence is deafening, and it's making people wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. Could it be that Very Dark Man has discovered something that's making him reconsider? Or is he just strategizing and planning his next move? The silence is creating even more speculation than the original controversy. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about what this whole situation really represents. This isn't just about VeryDarkMan-Ross Boss or even N100 MILLION. This is about the new age of social media accountability and how far people are willing to go to prove their point. Think about it. We're living in a time where international disputes between an activist and a foreign businessman can escalate to the point where multiple people are willing to wager nine-figure sums in naira. This is unprecedented territory. It also raises serious questions about verification and truth in the digital age. How do you actually prove a travel ban exists? Chinese immigration systems aren't exactly transparent to the public. Official documentation might be hard to come by. So even if VeryDarkMan wanted to verify this situation also highlights how activist work in the digital age can have real-world international consequences. VeryDarkMan started out exposing local scammers and calling out Nigerian issues. Now he's potentially entangled in international matters that could affect his freedom of movement globally. So where do we go from here? The ball is absolutely in VeryDarkMan's court right now. He's got multiple N100 million offers on the table, challengers ready to prove him wrong, and an audience of millions waiting to see what he does next. Will he accept the wager? Will he try to verify the travel ban through other means first? Will he simply walk away from the whole situation? Each option comes with its own set of consequences and implications for his reputation. If he accepts and goes to China, he's either proving his doubters wrong in the most spectacular way possible and collecting N100 million in the process, or he's potentially facing arrest in a foreign country. That's not a gamble most people would be willing to take. If he doesn't accept, the narrative becomes VeryDarkMan backed down when things got real. That's not exactly the brand he's built for himself as someone who never backs down from a challenge. And if he tries to verify the ban without traveling, well, good luck with that. Chinese bureaucracy isn't known for its transparency, especially when it comes to immigration matters. The other question is, what are the challengers' sources? How are they so confident about this travel ban that they're willing to put up N100 million? Do they have inside information? Have they seen documentation? This VeryDarkMan China situation has evolved from a simple call-out into one of the most high-stakes dramas in Nigerian social media history. We're talking about N100 million wagers, international travel bans, Chinese businessmen, football stars as Escrow hold. One thing's for sure, whether you love him or hate him, VeryDarkMan knows how to keep people talking. And right now, all of Nigeria is watching and waiting to see if he's going to accept these N100 million challenges or if his silence means something more concerning. What do you think VeryDarkMan should do? Should he take the bet and fly to China? Or is this too risky even for someone who thrives on controversy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe for more updates on this story, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what happens next, because something tells me this saga is far from over. I'll see you in the next one.